Hi, welcome to the Tabs and Icon video series. In today's video, we're going to look at a new function in Microsoft Excel called the WRAPCOLS function. For now, this function is only available to subscribers of Office 365. So if you are subscribed to a lower version, you won't have this function. Along with this function also came the WRAPRows function, which we're going to look at in my next video. My name is Dan Karo Ezuzu, and I'll be your anchor for this particular training. Now, let's look at what the WRAPCOLS function does. Now, what is the WRAPCOLS function? This is a function in Excel that transforms information in a row or column into a data array based on specified maximum number of values per row. Now, from this definition, we can bring out some salient points that the information you are going to transform will either be in a single row or in a single column. That means using the WRAPCOLS, you cannot transform information in a data array. So I'm either going to transform information in one single row into an array or in one single column. Now let's look at the data we have. We have here serial number and staff name. How many staff do we have? 28 staff. So let's assume that I want to create this staff into various groups of 5 persons per group. That means the maximum number that will be in a group is 5. So let me stay here, maximum number. Let me put here 5. That is the maximum number that will be in a group, 5. Now, so what am I going to do? I'll just come here and say, let me have the groups here. I'm just going to color this place just to set out that line. So I'm going to have here group 1. Now, I will have group 1 here if I have names under this particular group. So by the time I finish the first 5, I come to the next group and I move 5, I come to the next group. By the time I finish all, then there should be no more group. So rather than manually type group 1, group 2, group 3, I'm going to use a formula to automate that process. So the first thing is, at what point do I have a group here? 1, when I have information under this particular place, and then I have not exhausted the number of participants, which is the group. So if this place is 0, I won't have any group. And if there are no information here, I won't have any group. I think this marks is wrong. Let me correct this. Okay. So I'm going to put a formula saying if I have 2 conditions there. So I'm going to say if or. Let me count those numbers there. We know what the count A does. So if the count here, let me stop somewhere here. Okay. I'm saying if I count the number of values in this particular place, if it translates into 0, that means there's no group because there's no information there. Logic 2, if this particular place here is 0, let me hold it fixed. If this particular place is equal to 0, it simply means I don't have any information. So that place there will be no group 2. Now, my if statement will take precedent of saying what will happen if those values are true. If there's no value here and this place is 0, then there is no group there. So I'll just put a space. We know how to put space. Now, if there is value, what do I do? I'm going to add 1 to the previous group. So if there's a previous group, that means that would be group 2. Very simple. So I just hit my enter key. Okay, I think that's fine. So it's giving me 0 here. But assuming I have numbers here, it should give me 1. If I have here, no. And I get numbers here, this will give no. So I'm going to copy this one across to this place. You can see I have 2 here. If I keep anything here, this will be 3. If I hit anything here, this will be 4. So that formula suffices for now. But I just want to have that play rather than 1, 2, or 3. Let me call it group. So I'm going to go to my custom. Let me come here and then change this one, and I say group. Is that spelling correct? Group. Okay, group. And then I take this. Let me put 0. Okay. So that whatever gets there, it will be group. So now let me put something here. So this is group 1. Now let me come here and then move this along to this place. So if I have detail here, I'm going to have group 2. That's cool. Group, okay, fine. So now I have designed that simple template so that I can easily run along with it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm coming here to run through the whole of this. Now, remember we said you can only transform information in one column, but I have 2 columns here. So I'm going to highlight only this column since this is where the names are. And it's going to be better for me to transform it into a table. We know how to transform information into a table. Control T will give me that so that I can just hit my OK. So you see that I have created a table only for one column. The reason I created that table so that when I have calls to add other people to the class, they will fall into the next available group. So I'm coming here to use the WRAPCOLS. Now let's look at the WRAPCOLS. What is the syntax like? The WRAPCOLS is a 3-argument logic. 2 of those arguments are mandatory, only 1 is optional. Remember, when you have arguments that comes in double quote, I mean in parentheses this way, it's actually known as optional argument. So this last argument is an optional argument. So let's look at the logic syntax. WRAPCOLS, you have the first item called vector. Now, what is the vector in this argument? The vector simply means the row or column that we are referring to. It's a compulsory argument, mandatory. The next argument is wrap count. How many persons do I want per group? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 5? That is the number of count. Now, this last argument, we're going to come to it, is equivalent to the if error or if now function, where your argument translates into an error. What value do you want? So we're going to use all that one to run this particular syntax. See, I'm going to say equal to WRAPCOLS. It asks me for vector. Now, vector, I'm going to take the whole of this one. Because I've already named it, it's coming as a table name. I take a comma. It's asking me wrap count. How many persons per group? I already have 5 here. So I can actually type 5, but since I have it here, let me just click here and I hold that fixed. But if I type 5, that's okay. I'm trying to avoid hard coding in most of the functions I write. Now I take a comma. It's asking the pad width. Now the pad simply means what if there is no particular value to translate it to an error? What happened? So I can place here this, but for now, let me remove this since it's not a mandatory argument. And that's all I need. I just hit my enter key. Look at what happened. So I've hit my enter key. I see group 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me arrange them well. Okay. Fine. Now, this is the 5 groups I have split this particular data to. Now, why did I link this to this particular one rather than come here to edit? I can set, okay, I want 4 persons per group. All I need is to change this one to 4, and I hit my enter, and I have 7 groups. If I want 6 groups, I change this to 6, and I have 6 groups. Now, look at, I have 5 groups, and I have 5 groups. 6 persons per group, there are 5 groups. Look at the 5th group. The 5th group have only 3, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 persons. And you can see this any. We want to avoid this any. If there's no person to fill the gap, let it just be a blank space. That's where the last argument comes. So I'm going back and saying, if there is no value here, rather than any, let it just put a space there. And that's why I said this is equivalent to the if error or if now function. So if I hit enter, you see that it's gone. So it won't be giving that. Now, why did I convert this thing into a table? Because more persons might come into the staff names. If I come here and okay, with last name we have is Yahaya, which is the 4th person in the group 5. So if I come here and another person come into the class or the value, let's assume we have Harry, for example. Then we have Harry. Okay, well, there's a name there called Harry. Let me say Jacob. Now I have Jacob. What it means that since I have Jacob and I set this as a table, the moment I add that, Jacob will automatically show in this particular place. So it's very easy for you to just, I can come here and put 30, and then I put in another name. Let me put Musa. And you notice that the moment I do that, Musa comes to this place. So now what if I have another name, let's say 31, That means that person is going to start another group. Let's say Kinder. That's the new person. Now look at what happened. A group 6 is automatically created with only that candidate. So with your WRAPCOLS, you don't have to bother. As long as you update your original information, you are good to go. That's how to use the WRAPCOLS function. Very fine function, very efficient and very powerful function. Currently, like I said, available only to subscribers to Office 365. Thank you very much for listening. In other videos, we're going to look at other things that Excel can do. I'm going to be covering the wrap rows function in my next video. Hope to see you there. Thank you very much and bye-bye.